And the federal relief and assistance that we have been providing has included FEMA providing $750.
$750 for Americans who've lost their home, their livelihood, their sanity, they're stressed out, there's no power, and you're going to give them $750 when you've given Ukraine over $200 billion, when you've given illegal criminal migrants $15,000 credit cards, thousands of dollars in free food stamps, free health care, free down payments for homes, and free amnesty and asylum, and you're going to give Americans $750. As if that wasn't bad enough, to add insult to injury, you've got this absolute abominable DEI traitor, Mayorkas, who couldn't spell Homeland Security if it was tattooed on his knuckles, saying this: "We are meeting the immediate needs with the money we have. We are expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds. FEMA does not have the funds to make it through the season." And you want to know why, my fellow Americans?
Yeah, everyone should be waking up this morning outraged by that comment. This is not something that has just happened recently, and Florida's been warning about this since this administration took over. Mayorkas has come in like a virus and infected these what need to be healthy, strong, fundamental programs to ensure the stability and safety of Americans in times of disaster. So you heard, they have taken the FEMA Emergency Food and Shelter Program and over time siphoned off hundreds of millions of dollars into basically making it an illegal immigrant resettlement program. And so when you see these states and cities around the nation declaring emergencies, even blue states, because of what this administration has done, encouraging more and more and more, developing programs to encourage more and more and more people to come here, the government, Biden and Harris, are having to fund that on the backs of the American people. And now, right now, in Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, all of these states are hurting because of this truly natural disaster, not a Biden-Harris-made disaster. They're saying we need more money. And of course they need more money because they've been laundering it from the true intended purpose of this fund that Congress set forth. Laws be damned.
There's two things going on here. We just touched upon the main thing, this horrific prioritization of migrants over American taxpayers. But there's also something else here. What does this say about the Biden-Harris administration's ability to just lead? If they underfunded FEMA this much, and we are not even close to being in the heart of hurricane season, which in reality is August, September, October, and November, A.G. Moody.
Look, this is what President Trump did so well while in office. He could get to a 30,000-foot level, look at the health of American agencies and programs, determine what the problems were, and enlist resources, talented individuals, and a strategy to put Americans and the safety and strength of this nation first. I've seen it work here in Florida with Governor DeSantis. We decide where our problems are, we set forth to fix them, and we make sure not only money, but the strategy and talented personnel are in place to fix them. So, for example, when you have a disaster like this, and you know when there's no electricity, instability, when there's people needing just the basics of life because of a disaster. I was with officers the other night, and we surged our resources in vulnerable areas to looting. We made sure officers knew what to look for when it was in complete darkness. Right. They knew what to charge. We make sure our state attorneys know to hold these people so they don't get back out and start ravaging these communities again. It takes proactive efforts, and you just do not see this out of this administration. And here, and the roosters are coming home to roost. Look at what's happening right now.
The Florida model
when we're in the middle of a disaster with this administration at the helm.
You're right. The Florida model really does need to be a 50-state solution. Just want to mention this. You all launched an anti-looting team in response to Hurricane Helene, coming as 8 migrant workers are arrested in Tennessee, accused of stealing from flooded buildings. You guys do it right down there. I would just add, only a depraved person steals from someone in their time of need.
My fellow Americans, the level of anger, sickness, absolute rage that I'm feeling right now is almost impossible. I'm numb right now. It's impossible to describe. Our founding fathers would unequivocally overthrow this government. This is treason. You're giving billions, billions, and billions of dollars to fund your forever war. You're giving it to a war criminal, Zelensky, where every military expert worth their weight in gold has said there is no way, it is inevitable that Vladimir Putin and Russia will win that excursion. You're giving aid to Israel, billions of dollars to Israel, billions of dollars to all sorts of resources, some of them needed. I'm not saying they're not, all over the world. You're giving billions of dollars to illegal migrants, and you have the audacity, a slap in the face, to give hard-working, tax-paying Americans, a predominantly red area, by the way, Republican area, $750 when they've lost their home, their livelihood, their entire world has literally been uprooted, upended, and decimated, and you're going to slap them in the face? That doesn't even give them food for a week. Have you seen the latest prices at the grocery store, Comrade Kamala? Secretary Mayorkas, have you seen the prices of gas lately? Have you seen the prices of food anywhere? Have you seen the prices of hotel accommodations lately? That doesn't even give them, that is a pittance. That is an embarrassment. It is literally, you're spitting in the faces of Americans everywhere. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of this. Remember these two schmucks, especially that one in the middle right there who hosted that cat lady for Kamala's ridiculous, absurd, premeditated, pre-rehearsed town hall with Kamala, which ended up being a disaster with all those absolute heathen celebrities like Julia Roberts, Meryl Streep, and the least talented human being on planet Earth, Ben Stiller. We love Kamala. It's all about joy. Remember that? This was during the Lahaina, Hawaii tragedy, when residents, my wife and family, were there literally a month before this happened. This tragedy happened back in 2023. This cretin Oprah actually had the audacity to ask poor, struggling Americans to donate money. This woman's worth billions of dollars. She asked poor, struggling Americans under Bidenomics, the worst inflation in the history of our country, the worst rise in interest rates in the history of our country, and she actually had the audacity to ask struggling Americans for money, sitting on a huge mountain money pit. She had the audacity to ask us for money. Listen to this reaction. It says it all.
We were so concerned about what was happening in Maui.
You're so concerned about what's happening in Maui that you somehow managed to hire a private firefighting team to protect your land before the fires started. You're so concerned about what's happening in Maui that instead of taking some of that land and housing even a small portion of those displaced people, you've hired a private security team to keep them off your land. You're so concerned about Maui that you simply haven't had time to denounce any of the shady real estate deals which are robbing people of everything they have, you know, like the ones you were involved in that helped you acquire that land for pennies on the dollar of what it was actually worth. You're so concerned about Maui that instead of taking what would amount to a year's salary for you and 4 or 5 of your billionaire friends, which could be used to rebuild the entire place in a matter of months, you're jumping on social media and asking the American public, most of whom can't afford to pay their rent right now, to do it for you. You're so concerned about Maui that it's more important that you get social media points than that you help.
The fact that Kamala Harris and Biden, and maybe even more specifically Mayorkas, wasn't asked to resign when they've allowed over 15 million illegal migrant criminals into our country, literally allowed them to walk into the country unvetted, unscreened, unhindered, proves that they did it on purpose. Because not only was he not fired, they actually defended him. Are we paying attention yet, my fellow Americans? Are we getting a sense of what this radical, extreme, left party that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has stated many, many times that this is not the Democratic Party that my father and my uncle, President John F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy, were a part of 50, 60 years ago. And that's why he's endorsed Trump. Are we finally waking up to the fact that they're giving all of our hard-earned tax-paying money away to foreign forever wars, to fund absurdities like creating these migrant compounds in my state, California, because Newsom's a part of this, Schiff is a part of this, Chuck the Buck Schumer pushing up daisies, Pelosi, they're all a part of this. Is it making sense yet, America? Are we now realizing, this is not hearsay. This is not spooky rhetoric like, ooh, Trump wants to use Project 2025. When I don't know, do you know what project? I don't even know anything about Project 2025. Trump has disavowed it all the time. You know why they keep pushing that kind of rhetoric? Because they don't have a track record. See, there's this little thing called stats, analysis, data. The data's in. The track record is in 3D Technicolor. These guys and what it represents, how it's manifested, what it conveys is they don't give a rat's ass about you and they don't give a rat's ass about me. They only care about power and the retention of power and photo ops and fake PR campaigns and fake Kamala Harris sitting with a pen on a blank piece of paper without her phone being plugged in. It's just all a charade of charlatans, a beautiful pageantry of eloquent lies trickled on down from the divider-in-chief, President Obama, Clinton, Soros, to all their minions, Biden, Mayorkas, Schumer, Pelosi, and Kamala Harris. This is the party of America last. This is the party that puts us way in the back of the bus in hopes that we don't make too much of a fuss, in hopes that we don't complain too much, in hopes that we'll just accept business as usual. I don't know about you, but I'm sick and tired of it. Please, I beg you, act accordingly. Execute your vote accordingly. Your sacred freedom of casting your ballot. What makes our Constitution, our country, our glorious republic so much better and more supreme than any other nation out there. You have this beautiful obligation to you, your kids, your grandkids, your great-great-great-great-grandkids, and all the people who came before us, who've sacrificed their lives, their liberties, and a whole lot more so that we can have this right. It would be a gross and grave error to waste that beautiful sacred gift on these anti-American, radical, extreme, Marxist terrorists that are in control of our country right now. $750 for hardworking, tax-paying Americans who've lost everything. $750 while you give billions away. Shame on you, Kamala. Shame on you, Biden. Shame on you, divider-in-chief Obama. Shame on you, radical, extreme Democrats, for putting us last. Well, we're going to return the favor come November 5th. I want you to share this video with everybody. I want you to tap the thumbs up. If you love America, tap the thumbs up. Help us push this video out, because you're not going to see this in mainstream media. They're not going to show this in the fake mafia woke media, not by a long shot. Let me know what your thoughts and your comments are. I can't wait to hear from you down below. Let me know in the comments down below, especially if you're somebody who's affected by what's happening and the lack of action by FEMA, Mayorkas, and the rest. I would really, really love to hear from you. So please leave me a comment down below. If you haven't already, check out these videos coming up here. Subscribe and follow by tapping my face right there. Make sure you sign up for our free newsletter. That's in the pinned comment, show notes, and description. This is your sure-proof way of never missing out, and it's free. And as always, may God bless you, and may God bless America. I'll see you soon.